guys, welcome back to a new tutorial. Today I'm going to be recreating Cluster Truck. So for those who don't know, that's a pretty popular game where you jump from truck to truck and the trucks have to get to the end of the level and there's a bunch of flipping and all that. So let's get right into it. First, we're just going to create a normal plane. There. And that's something I don't need. Alright. And we'll scale this up, alright? So now we can drag our truck in. This is going to be our truck for now. And to rotate him. But currently this truck does nothing at all. He just doesn't work right now. So what we can do is we're going to change his name to be Truck. And then under him, so this is our game object. Then under him we have the objects themselves. So we can change this one to be back. And this one to be front. So the front and the back. And why do we need that? Well, in a truck, there's two different parts. As you can see, it's connected by that piece. But here, we can literally just take it off. We don't want that. We want to have a hinge joint. So let's go ahead and create a mesh collider on both of these guys. Check is convex. And if you want these models, I will leave them in the description. Alright, so, well, this guy doesn't need it. We can just drag him to the back here. Okay, and then we need a rigid body on both of them. There we go. And this guy, the back, needs a drag of 1, so that's important. And we'll save the scene as level 1. Let's just save it as that. There we go. Now, what is next? Currently, this isn't anything whatsoever. It doesn't work. It practically falls apart right now. So let's go ahead and do this again. As you can see, it practically falls apart. We can move this guy without this guy being attached, and that's not what we want. So how do we change that? Well, if we can add a component called hinge joint, alright? Now this connects two objects together, such as the front of this truck and the back of this one. So let's go ahead and assign the back of the truck to the hinge joint. Alright. Now, this is simple. We can change the spring to 1, and we want to check use spring. That is important. And we can change it to the value. Basically, this value just makes it to where it's a little more stiff, so it's not going to be going crazy. And we don't want it to go crazy, obviously, because it's a truck. So if we played this, and let's just say we did that right there, as you can see, part of it's detached, but it's still hanging on, and then it flips, and he falls into oblivion. And that is exactly what we want. So that's the type of truck effect that we want. It is front heavy, as you saw there, and that's what we want. All right. So what's next? This truck still doesn't move. There's no use for this truck yet. So, to make a use for this truck, what we want to do is go ahead and add a box collider to our truck and scale it according to the truck. Alright, so now what we can do is add a rigid body to this guy, uncheck use gravity, and then you can add a script called truck movement, alright? So let's go ahead and add that, and then we can open it up in Visual Studio. Now what we want to do here is first remove the comments. They're always annoying, alright? And then what we can add is a float called movement speed, alright? This is very important for our truck. Next up, we want to say this. We want to say movement speed equals, and we'll just do random.range between movement speed. So movement speed is basically the minimum movement speed. So the minimum is movement speed, and the maximum is movement speed plus 30. Okay? So this is now our movement speed. So the movement speed, when you're setting it, you do want to make sure that you're setting it to be the minimum of what you want. Alright? And let's do this. We also want to randomize our drag. So this transform.getChild 0 dot game object dot get component, and then we're gonna get the rigid body. There we go, rigid body. And we're gonna take the drag, and we're gonna set it equal to, again, random.range. And we're gonna set it equal to, or we're gonna give it a range of 0.1f and 1f. Alright, so the F stands for float, we need that there. Alright, and now what we can do is in the update function, we're gonna actually move our game object. Alright, so that was randomizing our movement speed, which is what we want. So we're gonna say transform.position plus equals this.transform.forward. Alright. And I would use a navigation, Unity's navigation, but we want these trucks to be very stupid and dumb, and we want them to fly off edges, and unfortunately, the navigation cannot give us that. Alright, so we transform to forward times time.delta time, and we're going to multiply that by movement speed. Alright, now, this is our truck movement. If we played it, everything goes crazy. And that's not necessarily what we want. So this box collider needs to be trigger. And we will check, well, let's not check use gravity. We'll just go ahead and play it. And he goes in the wrong direction, right? That's definitely not necessarily what you want, whatsoever. Looks like a weird arrow right there. Alright, so that's not what we want. That's not good whatsoever, okay? So how do we change that? Well, first of all, we need to grab this guy. And we need to rotate him 90 degrees, alright? It's rotation 90. And actually, yeah, that works right there, alright? So now we just need to change the scale again to be what our truck is. Alright. There we go. And the Z. There we go. Okay, now if we played this, what happens? Our truck moves. And again, it is going in the wrong direction. So we're going to set this rotation to be 180 degrees on the y-axis. And we should be going in the correct direction. We are. So let's go ahead and take this guys and put them in the right spot. And we're going to move them to the ground. Alright. So he goes in the correct direction, which is exactly what we want. And if you look, his movement speed is fairly random. So it's 7. Now it's 18, and that's very fast. And as you can see, this guy right here, why do we need him? Well, I'll get to that in a second. Let's actually remove the box collider from this guy. And the rigid body, unfortunately. And copy it to both of these guys, okay? Now, there is a reason why I'm doing this. The Y scale can be a bit larger. Alright. And both of these guys already have a rigid body, so nothing matters. Alright. Let's take the font and scale that a bit. Now, why are we doing this? Well, if we actually put an object on this, it slips off instantly. And that's not what we want. We want to stick to the car. Just as if we're holding on to it, right? So let's go ahead and import our characters package. Alright, so the characters package is now imported. And I will show you what happens when we put our character onto this truck here. You will see that it is not good. It doesn't turn out very well for our character. So let's go ahead and play it, and you'll see we just slide off, and that's not necessarily what we want. We can keep playing this, and you can see we actually do land on it most of the time, and we fall off. And that's not what we want. That's not real physics, right? So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and add a new script to both of these guys called truck stay. Or not to these guys, but let's add it to our FPS character. Stick to truck. There we go. And we're going to open that up. Now, there's a good bit of stuff that needs to go on in the script. First of all, we need to add, let's actually delete these guys. We're going to add one of them back in a minute, but we're going to go ahead and delete them. All right. We need to first create the variables. So the first variable is a Boolean, and it's on platform, all right? So we're going to see if we're on the platform. Then we need a game object. So public game object, other game object. You'll see why we need that in a minute. And then that's actually good right there. So we need to add a function now, public void on trigger, enter. And then we'll say collider other. So that's the stuff we need to put in there. We're going to copy it, paste it, change the enter to exit, and now we can put some code in this stuff. So now we can say if other.gameObject.tag is equal to truck, then we can do something, right? So this is what we want for both the exit and the enter function. All right, so let's go ahead and copy and paste it in here. And in the exit function, all we want to do is say on platform equals false. And same thing for the enter function. But set it to true instead. And then say other game object equals other.gameObject. Okay, so that's simple right there. This is exactly what we want. Now, all we need to do next is add an update function right here. And in this update function, all we need to say is if on platform. But if you guys didn't know, if you say if on platform and you don't say if it equals true or false, it's going to automatically go to true. So saying this, it means it will say if it on platform equals true. Then we're going to say transform.position plus equals other game object dot transform dot forward times time.delta time times other game object dot get component truck movement dot movement speed. Okay, so this is simple. This is our script to stay on the truck. Let's go ahead and apply it, which is already applied, thank goodness. And now we need to actually take this the tag, set it to truck. You can play it. And it went way too fast for my liking. Let's play it again. But we slide off, unfortunately. Now, why is this? This is because we don't actually have a box collider on our character. So let's do that, and then we can set it to trigger. And if we played this, we should stick to this truck. And which we do not, that is alright. Now, why do we not stick to it? Well, that's because I did forget to do something. Other game object dot transform dot parent dot forward. And obviously, if you want to, you can say other dot transform dot parent up here, which I will probably do, dot game object. Alright, so this is exactly what we want, okay? So now we can play this. And we stick to the truck. And we just fell off the truck, alright? So this works now. This is actually working, and that's exactly what we want. Obviously, these guys need to be named again. Alright? Now, let's test this out. Let's actually do something cool with these guys. Let's take the drag of the back and set it to be a bit less. Just so that it's a bit different. And obviously, it's randomized, but still. Alright. Now we can jump off of him. Jump back onto him. As you can see, we are moving. But now we're not, alright? Jump on the back. And we can move the truck. So if you haven't noticed already, we're Superman. We have powers like crazy, and we don't want that, right? So what you can do is you can go ahead and set the rigid body mass to be at least 100. Alright, 1,000 is probably better. So now when you play it, well, he's going super fast. But if you played it and you tried to move the truck, it will not move, okay? I'm trying my best to move it, but I can't, alright? I mean, I did something to it, but not much, alright? So now we need to change the character. Currently, we're not very fast, and we don't jump that high. We need to jump high. So we need to change the walk speed to 10, the run speed to 16, jump speed to 15, stick to ground force to 6, and gravity to 1, alright? So now, when we play this, we can see, we can jump really high, and we can move a lot faster than we were able to before, right? Alright, let's try this again. See if we can beat the truck. And we can run all around him. And we can kind of determine his direction, but not necessarily. Okay. Now we need to do something. We need to actually create a level. And luckily for you, I've already created a level. So I'm going to show you a time lapse of me doing the level. Hope you enjoy. Alright, so this is the finished level right here. This is the finished result that I got. So now let's do negative 180. I think that works. And we need to scale this up, and we can see if we can actually do this. Okay, so we can duplicate this truck. First, we want to make it a prefab, though. And let's duplicate the truck, and we'll make 8 trucks. Let's just do that. 6 and 7, 8. And we will need to scale this scene up just a bit, just so it looks a bit more interesting. Alright, here we go. Let's actually try this out real quick. I'm going to fail miserably, but that's okay. And as you can see, everything falls through the floor, right? That's obviously because we don't have a mesh collider on either of our objects. Let's go ahead and do that. And we go crazy, right? Why is it that we're going crazy? I'll tell you. The trucks aren't directly on the ground. They are raised pretty high above the ground. So we need to move them down just a bit. And that way they drop just from a little height. And we can totally do this. Let's try it out. Let's see about jumping into this guy. And I think we're going to make it. Yes, and we did make it. Alright, so that is the truck part right there. That's exactly what we want. But currently, we don't die from touching the floor. I don't know about you, but that's not good. We don't want that. So we can go ahead and add a cube. And this cube will be the floor. So let's go ahead and make it the floor. You may think, oh, this is going to look terrible, but it won't because we're not going to actually be able to see this guy. So let's scale him up. And we're going to make him gigantic, unfortunately. Here we go. Alright, so this should work right here. Now we can set his box collider to be triggered, turn his mesh render off, and what we can do is give him a tag of floor or ground. Now we need to add a new script to the player that says restart level or death. Let's just name it death, alright? We can open this script up, and this will be a simple script. All we need to do is delete all the stuff in here, add a onTrigger enter function, there we go, so that is the tag, and then we just can say application.lowlevel 0. Because currently this level is 0, alright? And the floor does need a rigid body of no gravity, obviously. And it needs to be kinematic, alright? Now, next thing on the list is to actually add open scenes, and then we're going to test it, full screen, and then we can build and run this. As you can see, we can run on this ground as much as we want, but nothing happens. And that's not good. So we can actually set this tag, and then if we played it, and we fell on the floor, we restart the level. Which is exactly what we want. So let's build and run this. Okay, so here is Unity opening up, and as you can see, it is very loud. And we're kind of slow. We're very slow. Let's touch the ground, restart the level. Try to see if we can get in the front. And, oh, we didn't do it. Alright, let's see. Let's try as many times as we can.
6 hours later.
And that is it for this tutorial, guys. Thank you for watching, and if you liked this series, like it or subscribe, and we'll see if this gets a lot of views, and if it does, I will continue to the next part, and in the next part, we will be implementing the power-ups. So we'll see about that, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.